Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. You may notice that I'm still at home. I'm still at my mum and dad's house. So I thought I'd take advantage of this to take you down memory lane. Because I'm gonna go for a walk around my hometown and show you some different places where I used to hang out and do different things, explain what they are, and provide you with comprehensible input in English at the same time. And look at how sunny it is. It's a beautiful day back in Blighty. Blighty, by the way, is another way of saying Britain. First things first, I'm gonna put my trainers on. In the UK, we say trainers, and in the US, they say sneakers. And as you can see, I'm a little bit lazy because I slip them on rather than untying my laces and then tying them again. But anyway, ready to go. And I can't forget my headphones because whenever I go for a walk, I need to listen to podcasts. If not, I get bored. Before I leave home, behind me you can see my mum's car, the one that I'm insured on as well, and our garage. Some people say garage, but better to say garage. At the top of my road, you can see here, we've got lots of big trees. These are all Christmas trees. So around Christmas time, we used to come here and cut down a tree to be able to put it up in the living room. By the way, my hometown is called Bingley, which is in the north of England, in West Yorkshire to be precise. And yeah, as you can see, it's kind of picturesque. I'm not used to it being such good, warm weather in England. And actually, on that note, it is official that this year has been the warmest summer in the history of the weather in England. So yeah, global warming is a thing. By the way, when I was younger, between 15 and 16, I used to work here. I worked here 2 hours after school every day to look after children and keep them busy. So ever since I was quite young, I've always worked in education. If you ever see these yellow containers, they are grit boxes. They're full of salt for when it gets icy and snowy in winter to prevent the roads being too slippery. And looking here, oh my God, look at the size of that spider. Luckily, it's not a real spider. Thank God. Look at this sign. It says no fouling. And as you can guess, it means no pooing. So dogs shouldn't poo next to this tree. Here we have lots of steps. Time to go uphill. Not too bad. I made it to the top of the steps. Oh, it's a bit dark in here. And the reason for that is because I'm in a park. And I'm taking you through this park because it's a place where I used to spend so much time with my friends, hanging around and playing. Looking at the ground, you might be able to tell that autumn is coming because there are lots of leaves that have fallen on the ground. I've just sat down at a bench because with so many hills and steps, I'm out of breath. As a result of having so many hills, we have lots of these railings to make sure that maybe elderly people are able to hold on and, well, not fall over. I'm just kidding. I didn't really fall over. I was just pulling your leg. Here's another bench. And as you can see, it's common for people to have their name engraved on the back of a bench. And if we move closer, you can say it says in loving memory of Robert N. Mason. R.I.P. Robert. Now I'm out of the park, so let's keep going. Just to bring your attention to the fact here, there is no through road, meaning it's a dead end. You can't keep going that way. A dead end. Across the road, you can see a nice little post box. And England is famous for having roundabouts. So there you just saw this roundabout and a car turned right. And I'm not a fan of getting the bus. I never get it, but here is a little bus stop. This is a wheelie bin. A bin that has wheels. Every house has different wheelie bins and you need to take them out to the edge of the street when it is the designated day. Now I've just come to my local pub. It's my local. It's called The Birches. Great place for a pint to sit outside and watch footy. Footy is football, by the way. Notice that behind me you can see a Union Jack. Here as well, the Union Jack is the flag of the United Kingdom, by the way. And in front of me, you've got a nice little church. I used to come to this church until I was like 7 years old, and my mum still comes here every Sunday. But then I had the option of whether I wanted to play football instead of going to the church. And I'm afraid I chose football. Talking about sports, this is my local tennis club as well, but I'm not very good at tennis. So I played from time to time with my friends, but not very often because I'm not very good at it. And next to the tennis club, this is Eldwick Recreational Club. It's a park, basically, and a nice place where you can play sports, as I showed you, with the tennis club. You can tell it's a pub because here outside, right next to the beer garden, we've got lots of beer kegs. And here's the local post office, by the way. But it's also a newsagent's, an off-license, a general store, and a confectionery. I don't want to get too close, but in front of me, you can see a couple of people are horse riding. Isn't that nice? And there's a washing machine out there. Anyone fancy a washing machine? There you have another couple of wheelie bins. Interesting here, it says unsuitable for HGVs. That means heavy goods vehicles. Now we're getting close to my primary school, where my mum actually worked for 20 years. So I'll show you that in a minute, but first, there you can see a basketball net, but importantly, look at that flag with the white rose. That is the flag of Yorkshire. And yeah, I'm from Yorkshire, which is the biggest county in England. Across the road there, you can see my dentist. That's where I go once a year for a checkup. And over there, you can see a flashing green light because it is a chemist's or a pharmacy. And next to that, you can see a health centre, like a clinic, a little doctor's. And it said NHS, which is National Health Service. And here you can see my primary school. This is where I went to school from the age of like 4 to 11. And it's where my mum used to work. It's got a lovely playground, lots of room for kids to play around. And as you can see, it's quite rural at the same time. On this sign, you can see another reference to Yorkshire with the white rose. And as it's a road next to the school, it means there is a low speed limit of just 20 miles per hour. And there you can see another roundabout and the hills in the distance. And speaking about school, to be honest, I look back on my time at primary school really fondly. I had a really good time, good friends. Obviously, my mum worked there as well, and I could walk back home, I could play outside, I could do so many things. So yeah, I had a great time at primary school. Now I've arrived at Gilstead Rec, which is Gilstead Recreational Centre. It's another way of saying Gilstead Park. And here I used to play lots of football matches every Sunday with my club, Bingley Juniors. And our kit was red and black, a little bit like Bournemouth's kit at the moment. And over here you can see another playground. All of this playground is surrounded by fences to prevent little kids running away, I guess. And over there in yellow, you can see a gate to enter. Over there, you can see some little swings. Here we have a slide, another bench, and yeah, I don't even know what that's called, but you know, playground things. I mentioned that I used to play football here, and well, there you have the proof. Bingley Juniors Football Club. And this was the changing rooms, where you could also get a cup of tea or biscuits. And yeah, it's not very posh, is it? But it's nice and rural and good views to play football. Now it's time to walk down the hill to the canal and Bingley Town Centre. Oh, and it's really common to see these signs when a house is for sale. And when it is sold, well, this part changes to sold. Behind me, over there, you can see some cows and calves as well. Baby cows. There you can see them a little bit more. Lots of cows in the field. Ugh, it stinks as well. And look at that, fresh free-range eggs for sale. Free-range eggs are eggs that come from hens that are able to move around freely, They have free range, unlike caged eggs, which personally I think is a little bit cruel. It's funny because my girlfriend, well, my fiancée is from Seville city centre, so she's a city girl, and well, I'm from the suburbs, the outskirts of Leeds, but it's kind of like the countryside. And she always says, "Oh, Lewis, there's cows everywhere where you're from." And that's not really true, but in this case, you can see that there are cows in the distance. And now we've reached the canal, and this is the Leeds-Liverpool canal. So it goes from Leeds United, all the way to Liverpool. And it used to be a very popular trade route to be able to transport different things from Leeds all the way to Liverpool, crossing through Manchester, more or less in the middle. It's a place where I often go for a walk or a run. And well, in my opinion, it's quite beautiful, quite relaxing. And as you can see in the distance, there are lots of these locks. These locks are designed for narrow boats, canal boats, to go uphill. So it's kind of interesting to see how it happens, but basically water enters the lock, so then it goes up, and then the narrow boat floats up, so then it can continue its route. Here, there are only 2 locks, but further up, there are 5 locks, which, yeah, it's interesting. It's like Bingley's claim to fame. Oh, and here it stinks as well. It reeks, because there you have a sewage centre. Ew. You see, that's an example of a canal boat, a narrow boat, and some people actually live in them. It even has solar panels to generate its own green electricity. Behind me, you can see another pub, and it's a pub that one of my friends used to own, and I'm going to continue along the canal. Here, this is the route, the path, and there are lots of tunnels as well, and people tend to cycle along these routes, or, as I mentioned, just go for a walk or a run. It's not a bad place for a pint, is it? But no, I'm not going to have a beer because I need to get back for my classes. What a beautiful day, right? And isn't this beautiful? Isn't this serene? Isn't it scenic? It's gorgeous. Lovely. But yeah, as I said, it's the hottest summer on record in the UK. And yeah, it's boiling. It's roasting. It's sweltering. It's scorching. It's baking. Well, it's not really. It's only like 20 degrees. But hey, there you have some different ways of saying very hot in English. Along the canal, there are always lots of swans. So there you can see that white swan and a couple of younger ones. I try not to get too close because I'm a bit of a chicken and swans can be a little bit aggressive sometimes. There you can see that I am 15.25 miles from Leeds. Or if I go in the other direction, I am 112 miles from Liverpool. Now, as you can see, I'm not really from the countryside because behind me, you can see a bypass, which is like a type of motorway. So as a result, you can see lots and lots of cars driving quickly past me. Behind me, you can see an old mill, and there are loads of these around Bingley and Bradford because it used to be a really important place during the Industrial Revolution. Nowadays, a lot of these mills have been turned into apartment buildings, blocks of flats, like this one here. All of these are different flats. And here, this towel is from the old mill. It's like a big chimney. Now, as we're approaching the town centre of Bingley, across you can see some council houses, council flats. They're flats that are subsidised by the local government. So it's much cheaper to rent or buy them. Like most small towns, we have a lot of supermarkets. Behind me, you can see Aldi, a car park, more car parks, and a co-op. So yeah, it's not particularly beautiful. Just moving past Aldi, you can see another 2 big chimneys, where obviously there used to be some mills. Here's the local library. And this is a little shopping area with different shops and a supermarket. Obviously, you have to have a Greggs in every town, and Bingley is no different. There you go. Welcome to Bingley. Here we have another supermarket, Lidl. As you may have guessed, I'm now in the town centre, and it's pretty busy, I'm surprised. So there's lots of traffic, but I'll try to show you what I can. Here you can see Bingley Pool. This is where I actually learned how to swim, because I used to come here once a week before I was able to start swimming. Oh, those were the days. Here, Bingley Town Centre, as I said, we have some public toilets. And here we have some concerts and plays, because it is Bingley Arts Centre. I never performed here, but yeah, it's a nice place, I suppose, for some cultural activities. There we have a nice building, lots of different buildings over there. Again, we have the Union Jack, and over here we have another pub. This is the central market square of the town, so sometimes there will be a market here as well. You see, it's a little bit harder now to record because there's a lot of people, and I don't know about you, but I get nervous when I get my phone out and start recording in public. This is Bingley train station. I've come here a lot to get the train to Leeds and then to Manchester, and it's quite nice, a nice old building. Let's go inside and I'll show you the platforms. There are only two anyway. Behind me you can see platform 1 and platform 2 as I walk upstairs, and you can also see that it says mind the step. Commenter here, mind the gap, which means be careful of the gap. And here there is the bypass once again. Now I'm going to carry on walking through the town centre towards the edge of the town, and then I'll show you where I went to grammar school, secondary school. This is another view of Main Street, where you have lots of hairdressers, estate agents, pubs, you know, takeaway shops, a little bit of everything. What you can see now is Bingley Fire Station. So if there is a fire, well, the firefighters will have to go out and extinguish the fire. They'll have to put it out. Behind me there is another lovely old pub. Look at it. It's beautiful. It's called the Old White Horse, and it's a great place where you can have a good roast dinner and pub lunch and a fresh pint. But not only that, this part of Bingley is really beautiful because this is a nice old church with, well, it's just beautiful, isn't it? Also, there you can see the Sharma, which is a lovely curry house, a great place to have Indian food. And there is an M&S, Marks and Spencer's, and a petrol station, where you can fill up the tank with petrol. In America, they call it a gas station. Here we are. We have arrived at my grammar school, my secondary school. I'm not going to get any closer because I don't want to be accused of trespassing, but here I'm at the front gate, and this is where my mum would sometimes drop me off or pick me up from school. Sometimes I'd walk down with my friends, playing games, doing different stuff, and here I had great times and great memories because I was here from the age of 11 to 18. So I did my GCSEs when I was 16, and then my A-levels when I was 18, before going, well, to university. If I could, I'd show you around, but I'm not going to do that. But it was a very big school. There were, I think, 300 different students per year and 7 different years. So every day there were thousands of children who came here to study and learn. And well, in the UK, it's common to have a school uniform. So I had to wear a tie, a blazer, a shirt, trousers, smart shoes. But yeah, I think having a school uniform is overall a good idea because it reduces the possibility of bullying and means that everybody is more equal. So yeah, this is a little snapshot, a sneak peek of my secondary school, my grammar school. Oh, and by the way, it's a public school, so it's open to everybody. We've almost finished now. I've showed you most of the important places in Bingley and the surrounding areas, taking you on a trip down memory lane. But I want to show you 1 or 2 other things before we call it a day and wrap up this video. Here's another train station, by the way, Crossflats, which is arguably closer to my house than Bingley. Yes, we are in England, so of course I had to show you a chippy, a fish and chip shop. I fancy it now. Personally, I think fish and chips are always nicer if you're by the beach, but still, nice and tasty. And fish and chips have to be eaten with salt and vinegar. Lots of vinegar, lots of salt. If you want, you can have some mushy peas, gravy, or curry sauce. But yeah, I'm actually going to the beach this weekend, and I can't wait to have some fish and chips. Oh, and for fish and chips, we usually use two types of white fish, cod or haddock. Personally, I prefer haddock. As you can see, now I'm back on the canal, and I should probably hurry up. I should get a move on, because I've got classes in an hour. And if you want to join my classes, well, check out englishwithlewis.com. I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you next time. Bye!